Yeah, so I was running Access in Kings Norton as a standalone trust. We moved from FMS, and at that time was doing budgeting on a spreadsheet. I'm not going to lie, I did love my spreadsheet, and it took me a while to walk away from that, because once you're comfortable with something, it's a friend, isn't it? But moving to Access from FMS for us was, we actually did it in April 2020 when we were all at home in lockdown, if everybody remembers that. So myself and my finance team rolled out the whole of Access in Kings Norton at that point remotely, away from each other, alone. And it worked really, really well. Transition from FMS to Access, which we've replicated as recently with Swanshurst joining the trust. They again were a maintained school, they were FMS. But that transition between those two systems actually was really seamless. It was really, really user-friendly. It made a lot of sense. I'm quite practical. I like easy things. And it just was all common sense, really. So I found it a really, really smooth transition in terms of moving from there. Obviously, it's a big change for the team, for myself. And I think the team felt that change first because of all the transactional stuff. So it was all a little bit different. But we had quite a lot of support from Access to sort of get used to that process, and training to go through that as well. So yeah, it's worked very, very well. It's allowed us to combine things. It has made budgeting a lot better. So I no longer use my spreadsheet. I haven't used it for a while. Thanks very much. And it's a really good way and method of us having consistent reporting across our trust now as well. And therefore being able to make sure everybody's coding things to the right area, that budgets are accurate. So forecasting and management account reporting is accurate and that sort of thing. So we found it a really straightforward and user-friendly system for us. Yeah, there's definitely a time factor there. So like, Maria said as well, that move away from use of spreadsheets is phenomenal. And Maria, I am still getting to grips with payroll reconciliation on Access, but I'm astounded by it as well. It's just brilliant. It's literally one button and it's just fantastic. So there's just an inordinate amount of time to be saved. Just simple things, I guess, that I can run reports and really analyse things really easily. I can drill down into things in Access. So if I'm looking at my trial balance, I can drill down into it and see the transactions, and then I can go away and investigate that further. I love the fact that I can export all my reports to Excel or PDF. So the ones that I tend to share to a wider population, I will share to PDF. And the ones that I need to work on and do some manipulation or analysis with my teams, I will use via an Excel export. I cannot tell you how much I love being able to import a journal from a spreadsheet as well. That's really sad, but it is true. Just being able to prepare, as an academy, we have to do accounting on an accruals and prepayments basis. Being able to prepare those journals, walk away from them for a little bit, just to refresh your head, and then come back to them, double check, and then upload them is brilliant. And to be fair, being able to just draft things in Access is great as well. So sometimes you need, Maria, you need a second pair of eyes, don't you? You go number blind in a day. And being able to draft journals and things that you're posting on Access is really helpful, just so that you can get other people to check it if you need to. One thing that has saved me a ridiculous amount of time is in my interim and internal and external audit process as well, because we can attach every single invoice, every single quote, every single piece of paper that you used to have onto Access. I don't have to then scrabble at year end to produce evidence for my auditors. When they send me the checklist through, my response is uploaded and attached on Access, uploaded and attached on Access, and they have read-only access to Access to be able to get into all of those supporting documents. So I can put I can attach emails or invoices or whatever it might be onto the system, and it's all there. And I don't have to spend days digging around in paperwork. And this is one thing that Swanshurst particularly have found since we got Access at the beginning of the year as the trust. They've gone from having all this paperwork down to practically nothing. We've workflowed everything. So everybody raises requisitions directly on Access, and you talk about varying skill sets. I've got teachers raising requisitions directly on the system, something they wouldn't have done previously. That has saved time for my finance team because they don't have to get a manual requisition, type it out on the system themselves, and then attach everything. It's done and it's dusted. That work flows to the budget holder. They click 2 buttons to check and approve, that requisition, and that order can be placed. It just saves time for everybody. So it creates capacity within the team to be able to look at, attention to detail, to be able to spend more time analysing those management accounts. I could keep waffling on, but management accounts is another thing that has saved huge amounts of time for me. And as a trust, the ability to consolidate management accounts is incredible. I can literally run report once everybody's done their month-end activities, and I get 4 tabs, 1 for each school, 1 for the central team, and then the final tab that brings all of those numbers together on a spreadsheet again, so I can present that to my trustees, really narrate those any variations. But all of those things, I think you're getting a flavour of whether you're raising a requisition or running management accounts, everything within Access has saved me time and effort. Yeah, look, there is setup with this, isn't there? But what it is, it's a massive opportunity for you to do a lovely, very deep cleansing housekeeping exercise apart from anything else. So all those cost centres that have been hanging around forever and ever and a day, and all these weird things that we've set up and never used for 14 years, it's an excellent opportunity for a cleansing process apart from anything else. It gives you a really good opportunity to really think about what you want your system to do for you, so you build it to what you need. And I was very, James mentioned chart of accounts. For me, it was absolutely vital that we sat in line with DfE's chart of accounts for reporting purposes. I didn't have that before, and this gave me a huge opportunity to do so. So I think that, yes, you've got to plan it, so work backwards from when you want to launch it. Do not feel that you have to launch it at the start of your financial year, I think, is the other thing as well. I'm not sure there's any really good time in the school's year to change a system. So pick one that works for you and work in how that's going to impact it longer term. So, I as an academy, I adopted it in April. When we opened the trust, we opened on the 1st of January. So I've just done an 8-month year, which is the weirdest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I can't even tell you how grateful I'm back to 12 months. But, it was just about understanding. But Access helped us to achieve that. We could profile our budgets across 8 months, being a full period, which again was like, what? Okay, good. I don't need to divide by 12 and times by 8 all the time. So it did that for us. I think just plan it. Take the opportunity as well to do things that you wouldn't necessarily have done. So, for example, we workflowed and absolutely used all of Access's workflow from day one. We could have said, we're just going to get the finance team to use it. Everybody carry on doing recs and budget and signing pieces of paper as you normally have done. But we went in full beans and said, no, paperless, let's, get it done. And it's worked. We've reduced costs, therefore, as finance teams in all of our schools, because we're not printing anymore. We're not using the reams of paper that we were doing anymore. We're not duplicating effort. So I think just plan it, but grasp all the opportunities you can to hit the ground hard and get it working for you from day one.